So let's find the video. We're going to watch it. And I'm going to stop it after every interview and tell you how long I think they have been studying Bitcoin. This is highly entertaining. I think it was Letha and Retro Beaver who brought this up on the show yesterday. So it is LAHWF. That's the name of this channel. This is good stuff. This is good stuff here. Okay, we're still going. We might hit 100K here on the show here, folks. That'd be exciting. Everybody's been doing live streams trying to hit 100K, and if it just happens organically, that's even better. Okay, so we're not going to stop everyone, but I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to, after 7 of these people, we're going to stop and try to guess how long they've been in Bitcoin or how long they've studied Bitcoin.
I've bought some before. I lost a lot of money.
You think it'll keep going up over the next few months? Oh, for sure.
I'm not buying in right now, I'll tell you that.
How come? Do you think it'll ever replace the dollar?
No, absolutely not. Because there's nothing backing it up.
Bitcoin, it's up again. What do you guys think? Are you in? Do you believe in Bitcoin? Do you have FOMO? Let's ask some people real quick though. Raycon, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This is a Black Friday deal. You're gonna appreciate everything off today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right. You'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com.
Coin is.
What do you think about Bitcoin?
Thank you. Here's the video.
What do you think about Bitcoin?
But Bitcoin is awesome.
Do you have any?
This girl is hammered drunk. Hammered drunk.
No.
Do you think
Sure
you'll buy any Bitcoin in the future?
Maybe.
She doesn't know what Bitcoin is. Come on.
Okay. Thank you. What do you think of Bitcoin?
Well, I think it's a commodity. It's another tradable asset, just like pork bellies or anything like that. But as far as using a currency, I think it's got a long way to go before it gets there.
Do you think it'll ever replace the dollar?
No, absolutely not.
What?
Because there's nothing backing it up. The only thing that backs up the U.S. dollar is the U.S. government. So they call it fiat currency and all that stuff, but it's still real because the government can print money. Supposedly, there's only 21 million Bitcoins out there, and you're not going to have any more. But the price goes up and down so much. If you actually try to use it as currency, you're going to have to fix a price at a fixed time to be able to do a transaction. Then you got a barter transaction. You got IRS issues. You got all kinds of stuff to have to fill that out. But no, it'll never replace the U.S. dollar.
So treat it like gold.
Treat it exactly like gold.
And you're never going to own any Bitcoin?
Nope. I own some stock that messes in Bitcoin because I just wanted to have a little touch to it. But no, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin, not for 90-something thousand. And it may be a stupid decision because it may be $1 million in 2 years. I have no idea.
What's your number one stock pick if you could choose one?
Cullen Frost Bank shares in San Antonio.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with this guy. I mean, he seems like a good guy. I'm not going to shit on him too much here. But my prediction and my guess on how long he's spent learning about Bitcoin is 0 hours. And it's not that he's not paying attention. Like most people you ask, they don't have any clue about anything, right? But this guy, you can tell, listens to he probably watches Bloomberg every day. He probably subscribes to the Wall Street Journal, Business Insider. Like everything that he was saying there, you could tell it was all secondhand information, like backed by nothing. Apparently there's 21 million. It could go to 1 million one day or in 2 years from now. It's a commodity. It's like gold. It's like pork bellies you compared it to, whatever the hell that means. He said it's not backed by anything, but it's like pork bellies. Just all buzzwords. You could tell this guy is a straight mainstream media propaganda consumer all day, every day. He just gets all of his secondhand information from that. And he said his biggest holding is bank shares. So, I mean, what do you say to that? So definitely 0 hours actually learning about Bitcoin. Everything this guy just said was all buzzwords.
I don't know very much about it other than the price is through the roof.
Right.
And years ago, I do remember one of the prognosticators of the stock market said, you're a real dummy if you buy the thing. Jim something or another.
Yeah. Kramer.
Kramer, that's
Right.
the guy. Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
And sometimes I lament that I didn't buy some, and then sometimes I say, "Boy, I'm glad I didn't buy some."
You think it'll replace the dollar in the future?
Personally, I hope not. I really believe that the American dollar and cash is king. I really think that we as a nation should stay away from digital currencies completely.
What do you guys think of Bitcoin?
Okay, so that guy, I have names for all these guys. I had bald guy, the first one. That one's old guy. Also 0 hours learning about Bitcoin. He's also, you could tell, a mainstream news propaganda machine victim. He listened to Jim Cramer, which is the worst thing you could ever do. And Jim told him not to buy it. He said he kind of wishes he did, but also glad that he didn't. I don't know in what world he lives in where he's glad he didn't invest in Bitcoin when it was $1,000 and now it's $90,000. I don't know where the disconnect is there. But you could also tell that he has good intentions, right? He said that cash is king, which I completely agree with. And you could tell that and a lot of Bitcoiners don't even compare it to cash as well. But at the top of the Bitcoin white paper, it says peer-to-peer electronic cash. That's what it was designed to do, where you could send somebody, just like handing them a $20 bill, you could send somebody Bitcoin on Lightning without anybody's permission, without anybody knowing you sent it or the transaction happened, who it was from. That's peer-to-peer electronic cash. That's what Bitcoin is. So yes, I agree with the fact that cash is king. But if you understand that Bitcoin is the digital version of cash, then you look at it completely differently. So good intentions, 0 hours. Jim Cramer, people like him, people like Peter Schiff, ruined a lot of wealth for people of that age. So Peter Schiff, I hope the engagement was worth it through the years for you purposely and intentionally telling people not to buy something, even though you know that that's bad advice. So shame on Jim Cramer, shame on Peter Schiff, and poor people like old guy there.
I don't know anything about it. No, I don't know anything about it.
Do you know anyone that's into it?
No.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
I don't have an opinion. I know they're like virtual currencies. They're connected to prime numbers. They're very hard to mine. That's all I know. And you need a lot of computational power to find new Bitcoins.
Yeah, they're kind of bad for the environment, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, because you need a lot of power and electricity for that, I guess. So they're bad for the environment as a consequence.
Do you think you'll ever buy Bitcoin in the future?
I might consider that, but not in the near future, I would say.
Is that marijuana?
Maybe. No, it's a cigarette. It's legal. It's just Italian tobacco.
Okay. You're from Italy?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Aaron, what do you think of Bitcoin?
Okay, so that is Weed Guy. I think that he probably spent a couple hours. Let's go back to him there. He probably spent a couple hours in Bitcoin. You know, he had some good points. I mean, he called it a virtual currency. He said it's connected to prime numbers. He said it's very hard to mine, very difficult to mine. And he said that there's lots of computational power needed to mine Bitcoin. So you could tell that this is a smart, intelligent guy. You could tell he spent a couple hours at least looking into it and trying to figure out what's going on there. Not an investor. He hasn't got to the point where he has any sort of conviction to buy it, but definitely open-minded, definitely understand what's happening there in terms of like the actual technology there and that proof of work consensus. So I'd say this guy has spent a few hours learning about Bitcoin.
It's legal. It's just Italian tobacco.
Okay. You're from Italy?
Yeah, sure it is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Aaron, what do you think of Bitcoin?
I think it's cool. I wish I knew more about it. I don't know too much about it.
All right. So you haven't bought any yet?
I've bought some before, and I lost a lot of money.
Really?
To me, I lost like $50 or $100.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, shit. So I just sold it. I gave up pretty quickly.
What made you buy it in the first place?
All my friends were getting into it, kind of, and I thought I would try to follow suit, but
yeah,
it didn't work out too well for me.
Did you sell it because it was going down, or just because you need the money?
Kind of a little bit of both. I mean, it was going down, and I was like, I might as well just cut my losses and try to get some of my money back, you know?
Yeah. Do you think it'll replace the dollar in the future?
That'd be pretty cool. I think so.
Evan, what do
Okay, so this is young guy. I would say 0 hours, clearly zero conviction. And I mean, I do think that this guy, he said at the end there, it'd be pretty cool if it replaced the dollar. I think that this guy will hold Bitcoin one day. And I think that he'll, he won't be hesitant to it. He won't be anything. He lost a lot of money, $50. But I mean, I'm not going to laugh because it is a lot of money to a lot of people out there. So I'm not going to discount that. But the one thing that he said was that he saw it going down and he wanted to cut his losses. And I feel like that's when you hear about it from your friends or your family or your coworker, they're like, okay, buy this Bitcoin thing. They say it's going to go up. It's going to be worth this much. So people have these built-in expectations that this thing is only going to go up. And as soon as like this guy might have held it for like a day, and because it wasn't going up like his friends told him it was going to, he just like, okay, well, I don't know what this is. It's going down. I'm losing money. I can't afford this. Like how many people have done that before? So many. This guy's like a perfect representation of people like that age who have zero conviction, spend zero time. They just want a quick buck. And as soon as it starts turning around, they cash out because they shouldn't have been in there to begin with. You have to hold on to Bitcoin for at least 4 years, not 4 hours. Right? So good dude. I could tell he'd be fun to drink a beer with, but he needs to spend some time learning about Bitcoin.
Place the dollar in the future.
That'd be pretty cool. I think so.
Evan, what do you think about Bitcoin?
I've heard it's on the come up recently. It's not something I've ever bought, but crypto seems very interesting to me.
All right, so you might buy it in the future?
Oh yeah. Once I got more money.
Do you think it might replace the dollar in the future?
I can see it happening.
So how come you haven't bought any thus far?
I'm too young. I'm 20 and I'm not financially independent enough. But maybe a few years down the road, start investing in crypto.
Do you think it'll keep going up over the next few months?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, young guy too. You can also tell that this guy spent a little bit of time learning about Bitcoin. This guy seems interesting to me. You can tell he's 20 years old, he said. You can tell he's a pretty smart, intelligent guy. I mean, he's definitely on the right track. And I understand that. You're 20 years old, unless you're like a hardcore, very disciplined person. Like when I was 20, I was blowing money on beer and fun, right? When you're 20, that's kind of the age for that. So I get it. Unless you have a trust fund to rely on, then it is hard. Like you're eating craft dinner, you're eating ramen noodles, you're going to school, you're trying to have some fun. Bitcoin's not a priority, but you can tell that this guy has spent some time learning about it. He said that he could see it happening in terms of replacing the dollar. So this guy, I'd say a few hours, and will probably be a Bitcoiner in the very near future.
Keep going up over the next few months?
Oh, for sure.
Say what?
We'd love to see it.
Do you want to be on a video real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, Bitcoin, it's made a big move here recently.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
You guys have any FOMO about it?
FOMO?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I am not buying in right now, I'll tell you that.
How come?
Well, there's a lot of reasons.
100K, one Bitcoin, one house. I mean, it's kind of equivalent.
Yeah, in Detroit, you can buy a house for $100,000.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Do you think it'll replace the dollar in the future?
I mean, don't quote me on it, but some sort of cryptocurrency probably will turn over the world. Maybe Ripple, XRP, shout out.
Oh, do you own those?
A little bit.
Oh.
Let's think about this, okay?
ADA, Cardano, hey.
The black market's worth billions of dollars each year, right?
Okay.
Bitcoin's untrackable.
Yeah.
Makes sense to own Bitcoin.
Right. So you own some?
No.
Okay. Why not?
Didn't buy in early enough.
So you might buy some when it goes down?
No.
No.
No, I buy solid assets.
Man.
Okay.
That's fair.
What do you think of Bitcoin?
Okay, this hoodie around his waist guy. 0 hours. 0 hours. He said, I buy solid assets, and also yelled XRP and ADA within the same minute. So this guy, I don't know if he's hammered drunk. I don't know if he's high on drugs. I don't know what his deal is, but clearly a dipshit. his friend there seems a little bit more logical, a little more informed. He said there's a black market for it. Untraceable. It's definitely not untraceable. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions in Bitcoin is that it's untraceable. It's probably the most traceable asset that exists, actually. And that's why if you're a drug dealer, if you're a criminal, if you're looking to use Bitcoin to facilitate that criminality, you're the dumbest criminal on the planet, because it's literally on a blockchain that everybody can see and verify themselves with IP addresses, with other things involved. It is the dumbest thing you can do if you're a criminal. So 0 hours for sure, XRP holder, sweater around his waist, dipshit.
Man. Okay, that's fair. What do you think of Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Oh, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Do you have any?
No, I don't. I haven't been in a financial situation to be able to do that.
Right.
Yet.
Do you when you get money, are you going to buy some Bitcoin?
I might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it'll replace the dollar?
Maybe.
What's wrong with Bitcoin?
Love this guy. Big fan of this guy. This is my favorite guy on this video. Drinking a beer in a paper bag. And I like the fact that he said, I'm not in the financial position to buy any Bitcoin yet. This guy's the winner of the video. So, you know, obviously his situation isn't great. We don't spend a whole lot of time talking about him, but I like his outlook. I think that this is a guy I would also like to slam a beer with. And I like his optimism. He's not in financial position to buy Bitcoin yet. I wish this guy had a Bitcoin wallet. If we could track this guy down somehow and we could all send him like 10,000 sats, change his life, I think that would be, I don't know how we do that. Obviously, I don't have 2.2 million followers like LAHWF, but that'd be pretty cool. I like this guy.
Yeah. Do you feel like it'll replace the dollar?
Maybe.
What's wrong with Bitcoin?
It's cryptocurrency. It's great, but I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. It's because I'm a no coiner. You know, I like physical assets, things I can touch.
Hell yeah, no. These are the opinions we want.
Yeah.
Well, how come? What's wrong with crypto?
There's several different markets to invest in. Some people love crypto. That's fine. Just like some people love starting a business, some people love owning property. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. If you want crypto, that's fine. I'm not against it. I think it's going to take over. It's not going anywhere. There's a lot of fake coins. You know, like there's going to be the Taylor Swift coin and then the, you know, Johnny Walker coin. So it's just for me, you know.
Well, yeah, I agree. Those are kind of scammy, but you don't feel like Bitcoin will ever replace the dollar?
Eventually, yeah. I think it's social. Yeah, for sure. Why not? Why? Because digital currency, that cash, making cash is just a problem. Right? The paper, the process.
So why don't you buy some Bitcoin? Aren't you scared of missing out?
A little bit. Because I got my own thing going, brother. Yeah, my kids are going to hate me, but they'll love me for the other work I do.
Cool.
And you're like, oh, well, Dad bought a bunch of apartments. We don't have much Bitcoin, but we got this going on. So,
all right. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Don't worry. You'll sell those apartment buildings one day for Bitcoin. You'll just get way less of it. So that guy, what did I call this guy? Nervous guy. So he's a real estate guy. I get that. I respect that. You know, I have nothing against real estate. Again, I do think that he'll probably end up selling those apartments one day for Bitcoin, and he'll just get way less Bitcoin than he could have got today. His kids will hate him for sure. I agree with that. You could tell that he also hasn't done much. I think this is like the younger version of like the first guy, the bald guy there, younger version of him. Very secondhand information, very buzzwordy. You know, thinks it's going to do well, but also there's a lot of scams out there. So that somehow relates to Bitcoin. Just pulling a bunch of stuff, you know, and you could tell how nervous he was because he doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. So you can tell that right away by the body language, by how he's talking and acting. So definitely, I don't know if I'd say 0 hours there, but probably less than an hour. But he's on the right track. He'll probably get there. It'll just take him a little bit longer than other people. So that is people on Bitcoin. I thought people would enjoy that. I enjoyed that. What do we got here on Zapstream? Spaceman says they watch Dave Ramsey. I can just tell. Yeah. And Peter Schiff or Schiff. Self-proclaimed free market capitalist, but advocates for government money as per the Communist Manifesto. 100%. 100%. Spaceman says the talking heads on TV want you to be poor too. Ramsey and Kramer, Schiff should be crucified for turning people off of Bitcoin. No, I agree. And the thing about those guys is, like, it's one thing if you don't, if you just don't want to buy it and you haven't done any research and you just rather focus on other things, that's your prerogative. But when you go on TV, when you have a big audience like that, and you know damn well what's happening here, like Peter Schiff does, and you're just lying to people to continue your little charade that you have going on, that you've built your life on, and you're too stubborn to admit that you're wrong, like that's a big problem to me. Plunger says, I'm going to start calling people 0 hours. I mean, it's true though. Like, how do you have an opinion on something when you've literally spent 0 hours learning it? 0 hours. And again, if you don't want to buy Bitcoin, that's fine. But if you think that you have an opinion just because you've heard things from your friends, your coworkers, from TV, from your phone, from whoever, you're a dipshit. You're a 0 hours dipshit. That might be the first piece of merch from the 88 Sats radio channel. 0 hours dipshit.